Inflation is up again, debt is up. What's up with prices of real estate sales? Premier Doug Ford cancels his plan on building 50,000 homes on conservation lands. What's the long-term housing solution now? Do we even have one? And is there another rate hike coming in 2023? Stay tuned for this week's show report brought to you by the Shoreby Real Estate team. I'm Robert Yanderchak, and thank you for tuning in. Ontario Premier Doug Ford has recently reversed his plan to open up protected Greenbelt lands for housing development after facing substantial backlash and the resignation of 2 cabinet ministers and 2 top staffers. This decision comes after a year of controversy surrounding the proposal to remove over 7,400 acres of land from the Greenbelt to build 50,000 homes, citing the housing crisis. Reports from the Auditor General and the Integrity Commissioner found that the selection process for these lands was a bit rushed and favored certain developers. The property owners whose land was removed from the Greenbelt were expected to see their land values rise significantly, obviously, according to the Auditor General. However, it remains uncertain whether the government will owe these developers any fees, any costs, any compensation. Despite the reversal, concerns do remain about the urban boundary expansions in some areas of the province. The Greenbelt was established in 2005. It aims to protect agricultural and environmental sensitive lands in the greater Golden Horseshoe region. The RCMP is reviewing information to determine whether an investigation into the Greenbelt land swap is warranted. This decision, although fair, will obviously have a negative impact on housing supply over the long term, which means housing solutions to meet established targets will have to be developed in other ways. I personally have very little to mild confidence in the government being able to execute housing solutions in an efficient and significant manner. My confidence lies with the people, the real estate specialists, the professional real estate investors that have knowledge and have the means to create housing supply in creative ways such as additions, rezoning, conversions, and obviously development. Although the market is currently in an uncertain situation, one thing I am sure is that in the next decade, it'll be filled with opportunities even more than the previous one due to the unresolved housing crisis in Ontario, which seems to be only getting worse and worse. In August, the cost of living in Canada went up by 4% compared to the previous year, up from 3.3% in July. This is driven mainly by higher gasoline prices. Gas prices rose almost 1% after a drop in July. Even without gasoline, prices still increased by 4.1%. Canadians also paid more for rent and mortgages, contributing to the overall rise in the cost of living. However, prices for travel and food increased less compared to the previous month. On a month-by-month basis, prices went up 0.4% in August, slightly less than July's 0.6% increase. This was due mainly due to lower costs for travel and airplane tickets after the summer travel season. Gasoline prices are the big one. They saw their first yearly increase since January 2023, going up by 0.8% in August. This was partially due to a drop in prices in August 2022. Gasoline prices rose 4.6% in just 1 month. Housing costs, including rent and mortgages, increased by 6% year over year. In August, rent prices rose by 6.5% nationally, driven by a high interest rate environment. Although the rate of increase in grocery prices slowed in August, prices remained high, with food from stores going up by 6.9% year over year. These trends reflect the very complex factors like gas prices, housing, and food costs, showing ongoing economic challenges for Canadians. Economists and experts are predicting that there may be another rate hike in 2023, but with the cost of housing having such a significant impact on inflation, the rate hikes seem to be counterproductive. Credit card debt in Canada has reached a record high of $107.4 billion. This means that many Canadians are using their credit cards more and more. Overall, Canadian consumers owed a total of $2.4 trillion in debt during this time. On average, each person with a credit card owes about $21,000. While some people are trying to spend less on their cards, it's harder for those with lower incomes. And obviously, during this time, fewer people manage to pay their full credit card balance every single month. So what does all this mean? What it means is that over the last 10, 11, 12 interest rate hikes, last 18 months, all of this is taking a really big toll on many households. It's also taking a toll on home values, obviously, as people can't afford as much as they used to when interest rates were at an all-time low. So prices are down. Many people who locked in their mortgage rates at lower rates are staying put. Perhaps they can't qualify for the same values anymore at the current rates. So this means sales activity in certain markets is also down. This doesn't mean that homes are not selling. Over 5,500 homes transacted in the Greater Toronto Area in the last month. Some strategically priced homes are seeing multiple offers with significant interest. The sale of property is very dependent on the pricing strategy and the introduction of the property into the market and how it is promoted and how it's marketed. Everything is interconnected, and although there is a lot of uncertainty right now in the market, there is some logic behind all of it once you break it down. A few things that are certain right now is, number one, prices are down from their all-time high, and the opportunity to land a really good deal is real right now. Number two, every market is different. Some have been impacted more significantly than others. Making a transition from a property that may have seen a mild drop in prices to one that's seen a significant drop may be worth considering a transition. Number three, sooner or later, the interest rates will have to come down. And we've seen this in the past. When they do, the pent-up buyer demand will build up again, and many of the current opportunities that are in the market will disappear very quickly. Number four, if we look at where the housing market is going over the long term in the next 10 years, we know that housing supply issue is real. The Greenbelt plan is over. Land, planning, and construction costs have never been higher. There is no real solution right now, but we know that the demand is there and will get even bigger over the next decade. And that's it. That's the show report for this week. That's all I have. Thank you so much for tuning in for this week. It's very special and hopefully insightful show report on September 22nd. Make sure to reach out to anyone on the Shoreview Real Estate team with any real estate related questions whatsoever. All our agents are very in tune with their respective local markets and are always here to help. If you have any questions, have a great weekend. All the best.